I need.
Right.
But now with the systems of not even just the country, but the systems of the world, that electronic banking and the paper trail of where you're getting your money from and how you're making your money, and not Uncle Sam. What's the other man name? Well, Uncle Sam essentially. What is not Big Ben? What is the? I don't know.
Ben Franklin?
No.
What is
I don't know the name I'm looking for.
I don't know if you looking for you.
But him trying to get making sure he get his cut or whatever. So it's like that is where
I think you're looking at Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam.
Yes.
I feel like I want to say Big Pharma, but it's not Big Pharma because Big Pharma is the drugs. Okay,
I think it's Uncle Sam.
And Big Ben is the clock. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. But him, Uncle Sam, want to make sure they get their money and making sure
Ben Franklin in London,
right? And Hello, family, and thank you for tuning into the FatBoyJoy podcast. I am your host, the Fat Boy himself, Rod Butler. This podcast and platform was launched to be a resource of empowerment, motivation, and encouragement while pointing to Christ. The main objective of this podcast is to have and create conversations that consist of the battles and triumphs of daily life while also providing strategies to accomplish such. All that I do here on this podcast and platform is from love, always focusing on the scripture, Philemon 1:7. Your love has given me great joy and encouragement because you, brother, have refreshed the hearts of the Lord's people. My prayers after listening or watching today that you are refreshed. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen or even watch, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. What's going on, family? It is your boy, FatBoyJoy Rod. I am here with the OG, Pastor Ronald Richardson.
What's up, man?
Going on? It is so good to have you on the show, man. Today we talk about finances. You are becoming one of this generation's financial gurus and assisting this generation in achieving financial literacy and financial wealth. And so we're going to talk about that and the stigmas and the taboo of finances as it concerns the Black community.
Yeah.
So introduce yourself, man. Tell us what you got going on, and then we're going to jump into this conversation.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Which camera am I looking in? Because we got a bunch of them here. Yeah. What's up, y'all? Listen, first of all, thank you for having me on this show.
No problem.
Roger.
No problem.
I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so my name is Ronald Richardson. I am a youth pastor, but I also am a financial professional, a financial coach, financial consultant. And I just kind of got into the consulting part and the coaching part recently. A little bit about my background. I've been in sales for almost 15 years. And I tell people sales don't change, right? Mm-hmm. But the product is the only thing that changes. So I took those principles and I took it to the banking industry. Okay. So that's where I got the finance piece from. And honestly, what I'm just trying to do, I'm just trying to be able to empower people, that they let them know that they have more power and control over their finances than they think they do.
So how long have you been in, well, you said banking. How long have you been in banking? Are you still in banking?
Not anymore. So I was in banking for 6-7 years, something like that. Yeah. I was in banking. I started off as a banker. So usually they typically, this ain't no flex, but God is good. But they
flex for the people. Let the people know who you are. Tell them.
So I didn't start off as a teller. I started off as a banker.
Okay.
Typically when you come in the banking industry and you brand new, they want you to start off from the bottom and work your way up. So I start off as a banker because that's the skill set that I had, was to sell.
Okay.
So I started off as a banker, and then I got promoted within a year and a half to a branch manager.
So working in the banking industry, I know there's been a lot of scandal over the years about banking and sales.
Yeah.
Especially, trying to meet quotas and people, lying about this and making fake accounts and stuff. Mm-hmm. Did you have to experience that, or did you experience any of the pressure of trying to make that happen in your?
That's a great question. By the time I came on board, a lot of that had, I won't say passed, but
okay.
The bank who I won't, I'm not going to name because I don't want to, I ain't going to do that.
Don't be trying to sue me, the LLC yet. Don't be trying to sue me for my little cause for having Pastor Ronald over here. If y'all sue me, y'all suing me. Y'all ain't suing the show. So hold on.
Yes, you're right.
So don't mention, don't drop no names about nothing.
I ain't going to say no name.
Yeah. But the bank that you were working for at the time.
The bank that I was working for at the time. But there were some other banks in that industry that were practicing those activities. And honestly, by the time I came on board, it was more so of like a service type thing.
Okay.
Now, I was a part of a regional bank, so the largest regional bank in Virginia. And we still had sales that we had to meet, but it wasn't where I've come from aggressive sales cultures to where if you don't hit your quota within that 2-week time frame, then you get another 2 weeks, and then that next month you on a performance plan. So it's very aggressive in that sense. But it wasn't. So when I transitioned over to banking, I was like, man, this is nothing. Like it was so much easier and less pressure. But as you grow and as you kind of climb your way and work your way up, then that's when it's like, okay, I'm not just responsible for my numbers, but I'm responsible for the whole bank's performance.
Yes, sir.
So that brings its own pressure. So as an individual, I wasn't really that pressured. But as you grow and as you have to manage people, it's like, man, like I don't get paid unless you sell.
Right. No. And so in the generations prior to us, like grandparents, great-grandparents, they didn't trust the banking system.
Right.
They kept their money under the mattress or under the rug.
Yes. My great-granddad, he buried money in the backyard.
No. And that's how much they did not trust the banking system. So, some of that, has passed down through the generations just in habit or just in seeing or in the ignorance of not knowing how to properly bank or why should we bank as the black culture. So what are some reasons that we should use banks and not Cash App? And
yes.
Yeah, amen.
Yes. I'm glad you said that because although Cash App is a great tool,
yes, pause 1 second.
Yeah.
Cash App, don't sue me. I have a Cash App. I'm just saying, y'all may not be the best reason why we should use Cash App as a banking mechanism.
That's
Go
right.
ahead.
That's right. We should use them as a
to send money.
Send money,
quick.
almost like a highway, like an interstate.
Right.
I just need to,
bypass and get there quickly.
That's right.
I'm not near you. I can't see you. You across the way.
That's all I need. So the thing about that is because Cash App is not FDIC secure, in a sense that that's talking federal government terms, federal banking.
That means
terms.
your money is insured if something happens to
yes.
the people. Yeah, help drop some definitions for the people.
Yes. So, for example, like if you were to go to a restaurant, right, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to pay for X amount of dollars, right, for food. Your bill comes up to $60, right? That information can get stolen from your debit card, and people can wipe your account clean. Now, if you have several hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, and if it wasn't insured, or if you're using your Cash App card rather, then even if it's not hundreds of thousands of dollars, in my sense, like in my eyes, if it's fraud and you taking my money,
I want it back.
I want it back. I don't care if it's $5. I want it back. So
Pastor J.G. Wentworth said, "It's my money and I need it now."
Pastor J.G.
That's what he said.
877 cash now.
Cash now. I want my money back. I don't care how much it is.
Not now, but right now.
Right now.
So it's good for that protection piece. However, the thing about our grandparents and great grandparents, the reason why they didn't trust is because they didn't understand.
Yeah.
They didn't really understand banking, and a lot of them were allowed into banks.
Right. No.
They couldn't get loans. They thought, okay, well, if you're not going to help me, why am I coming in here?
Why I'm going to give you my money?
So yeah. So it's just they just didn't really understand the importance of having a security when it comes down to banking. So it was just the lack of knowledge.
And then in their defense, a lot of things back then was cash, and still cash is king now.
Yeah.
But everything, there was not electronic payments and things like that. So the necessity of needing a bank now and then are a lot different in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Because the thing about the cash is king. They're individuals that if you, and I've come across them at the bank that I work for, they will come in and say, listen, I pay for everything cash for the past 50 years, for the past 40 years. And I want to be able, they say I need credit now, so I want to be able to buy blah, blah, blah,
Right.
And so when I run their credit, I see their credit score is a 0. And it's not because
zeros exist?
If you have nothing, they exist. Okay. Zeros exist. But they only exist if you don't have any credit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this person had nothing. I mean, nothing.
And how old?
He had to be. He was in his 60s.
Wow.
He was in his 60s.
Yeah. That's extreme.
The thing of it is this is what I teach. That credit stands for credibility. So of course you can tell me they use the honor code back then.
Right.
My word is my bond. If I say I'm going to pay you back next week when I get paid, That's what they stood by, a handshake.
Right.
I can't prove that if I'm looking at your credit report. I don't know you.
Right.
Like the word,
Right.
I can't decipher whether you're going to come back and pay
Right,
me
and
next
pay me
Friday.
my money, right.
Right. Because the record shows that is a high probability that's not going to happen.
Right, and that's what it's for.
That's what it's
like
for.
the probability of how well are you gonna pay your bills. Like, what's your record of paying your bills? How many people you owe? How many people you haven't paid? Right,
Right. So it definitely is something when we say that cash is king, but honestly now credit is king.
Really,
It is. It transitioned. So it transitioned. We lost some things along the way, but
we did.
we transitioned.
We did, and that is a scary thing because you can get your hand on some cash right quick, and then it's like it's here. I got it right here to show you, but it's still some people. If you have the cash, and especially with all the government systems and checks that they got to do, if it's over $10,000, you got to have this proof, that proof,
Right.
And so it's harder for those people who doing stuff, maybe not as legally as they should be.
Yes.
That's why you got to make sure your businesses are right with your tax IDs and all this good stuff to make sure that you can get some stuff. Even if you got a tax credit ID for your business,
Amen. Yeah, you preaching.
It's just a listen, but because when it's time like that, you can't just take $25,000 and be like, I want to do this, and they be like, okay, where you get that $25,000 from?
Exactly.
The government want their piece and they cut, so they trying to figure out how you got that, and they don't know. But so it's crazy that you say that now because this is my first time hearing that, so I'm like, okay, because that's how our parents and stuff grew up. If you got the cash, cash is good. I ain't got to verify it. I ain't trying to check my serial numbers. It is what it is. You got it in front of me, and here it is, and this is all I need.
Right.
But now with the systems of not even just the country, but the systems of the world, that electronic banking and the paper trail of where you're getting your money from and how you're making your money, and not Uncle Sam. What's the other man name? Well, Uncle Sam, essentially. What is not Big Ben? What is I don't know.
Ben Franklin?
No.
What is
I don't know the name I'm looking for.
I don't know if you looking for you.
But him trying to get making sure, he get his cut or whatever. So it's like, that is where
I think you're looking at Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam?
Yes.
I feel like I want to say Big Pharma, but it's not Big Pharma because Big Pharma is the drugs. Okay,
I think it's Uncle Sam.
And Big Ben is the clock. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. But him, Uncle Sam, want to make sure they get their money and making sure,
Ben Franklin in London?
Right. And I even...
I'm sorry.
Because all I could think of was Big, and Big Pharma came up, Big Ben came up. I'm like, no, that's the clock.
That's the clock in London.
Uncle Sam and them at the government is basically what I'm trying to say. Is making sure that they getting their money out of everything that we make, that they can tax it, they can collect on it, and if they're not getting that cut, they're wondering why.
Yes, sir.
Which makes sense, as you say, credit is king, because that's that paper trail. Like, okay, you making money, we got ours, and so you good. You can keep it pushing.
And what's crazy is that even when it comes down to cash, right? What people don't realize is that even if you have a certain amount of cash, you still got to account for it.
Yeah.
The government want to know where you got this cash from. I think you said that earlier, right?
No, yeah, they do. They do. Unless you're in church, they can't. But don't be going out here starting churches. Just
you just can't do that.
You just don't be starting churches just so you can.
You just can't
not have a paper trail. But amen. We give credit. But they're awesome. There are very tiny loopholes around the rules. But people have found these. Churches are worth, like church organizations like the Church of Latter-day Saints and them are worth billions of dollars. And hey, they found a loophole. I watched the documentary. That's what made me.
But the loophole thing is real. That's why when you go to a bank, that's why a lot of people feel uncomfortable going to banks. Number one, because for the African American community, there's individuals that working in those offices that don't look like me and you.
Right.
And I can tell you there's several former clients that I've had, they work with me because they felt comfortable with telling me certain things. But at the same hand, I feel like, excuse me, I need some water.
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel like I just preach a
30 because you're teaching and preaching. This is good.
But those loopholes are real. That's why this is funny.
I have to tell you have to bring your own water. I don't even have my cups up here today.
It's all right, man.
As we advance, so we know next episode to have some water for the people.
Well, are you going to ask like what type of water you prefer?
No, we paying guests yet. So you have to come out. So that's what I'm saying. These people have taken the time out of their schedule to meet me here. To be on this show. So I try to provide. I do need to get like a little snack basket or something.
But you know what? I'm good with the purified store brand because I don't like Fiji. But I'm sorry,
that is the nastiest water known to me.
I never had water that was
that in Deer Park. It was a post. It took me out.
What did it say?
It said Deer Park tastes like the deer still in. Deer Park in Fiji is some of the nasty. I mean, the dirt is still present,
still in
the water. So but we gonna get some. I do purified. We gonna get some purified water for the people.
Yeah.
This is pause for station identification. We get off subject real quick.
Yeah.
I was talking to Bishop. He was like, 50 years ago, they didn't sell water. I was like, what? He was like, no, won't nobody selling bottled water 50 years ago. You went and you got water out your faucet or what? So these people are making billions of dollars from getting water from the same place we get water. That's making me call. The water is attacking me. Getting water from these places and selling it's over $1 billion industry.
But you know what's crazy? Now that I think about it, growing up, we never had bottled water.
We never had no bottled water. We come outside for a pair. We would run the faucet. Then we had the ice cube trays. You would break the ice, put it in the cup. We didn't have no bottled water. You would put water in a jug of something that already used and put it in the refrigerator. We won't buy bottled water. That wasn't a thing.
And see, if you was like my mama and you wanted your own purified water, then other than the City Punch, that's what we called it. That's Foster Water, City Punch.
City Punch.
City Punch.
That's Florence. That's Florence. I never read that in my life.
Y'all didn't say that in Durham?
No, we see. You try to get me sued today. We love John P. Key, but everybody is not outside the county line. Some of us were in the city limits, and we had city water. We had water, and so we had some. So him, and even Shirley Caesar, I believe, was inside the city line. They outside the county line. That's when they had to go to the well and stuff. So we all of us didn't have that struggle. So no, we don't know about City Punch.
But what my mom.
Woo!
I'm sorry, you're gonna have
water spirit. I need water for myself.
I'm sorry. but what my mom used to do is she used to boil the water. She used to get it out of the faucet and have her own purified water. She used to boil the water and then put it in the refrigerator, like put it in a jug and put it in the refrigerator.
See, the only time we used to boil water is for the Kool-Aid, so that sugar can, sugar and the tea can, it can dissolve. Yeah. We won't.
I don't know how we got on that, but
we did. We really did just go real left. But I think you were talking about people looking like you coming into the banking industry and trusting you because you look like them.
Yeah, and it also coincides again what I was saying earlier about 50 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, our grandparents didn't feel comfortable in going to those banks. They were able to get certain loans, but they weren't educated on interest, things like that.
Right.
Even
so they got manipulated a lot of times.
A lot of times, yes. And I advise everybody to watch this. It's a movie called The Banker.
Okay.
It's on Apple TV. It's the guy from it has Samuel L. Jackson and what's his name? McConaughey? Matthew McConaughey. It's a black guy. He was Falcon in the.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. We know we never know his name.
Yeah,
but we know he'd have been in so many movies. But
I just know his last name is Mackey.
Yes, the guy kind of got a lazy eye. Know exactly who you're talking about.
Both of them. Yeah. But hey, if you see this, I like you. I love you as an actor. Yeah.
Don't sue us. We try to teach people about the money. Don't sue us. We just talking.
But seriously, like The Banker, that is a really good movie, and the basis of it shows you the background of how bankers back in the day, black bankers were able to start a bank. They left they were able to leave the white banking institutes, and they started their own bank, but a white man was the face of it.
So, and I want to watch that now that you said it, because I know growing up in Durham, we have a, well, I ain't there no more, but there was a bank called Mechanics and Farmers, and it literally was developed by mechanics and farmers, and it's black owned, black ran, and a lot of black businesses, especially the older businesses of those generations, bank with them. Like I know there was a church my granddad pastored. The church was probably like 50, 60 years old, and when they would write them checks, it would be mechanics and farmers, and we have but like 2 in the city, but that's where all of them bank. They kept their money together, and then it came about insurance and all these black businesses, because Black Wall Street is out of Durham, right? And that was one of those businesses that actually survived. It wasn't called gentrification at the time, but urban development, right? And so, no, now that you say that, that is something that I know to be true. That they got together, they banded together, they put their money together, and made banks, and circulated their dollar within themselves.
And I'm sure that's how they achieved the success that they did, to be able to be sustainable,
right?
And I think it's also the stigma of that black folks, we don't know what to do with our money,
right?
But one thing, which is true to a certain degree, but the biggest thing that I feel like our forefathers knew, our grandfathers and great grandfathers, they knew how to circulate the black dollar.
Right.
And I'm not making this a race thing.
No.
But with
other cultures do though.
Yeah, other cultures do that. The Jewish culture, they are huge on doing that. Other cultures too. You look at the Asian cultures when they come over to the US. You got
they band together.
They band together. The Middle Eastern individuals come over. They circulate
get them
the dollar.
A store, and they go.
Yes, I've had clients that's had convenience stores.
Yeah,
pass them down to their children.
Right,
like literally when they turn 18 years old. 21, pass them down to their children.
I was working at Sam's Club, and they had a little cigarette section where you buy cigarettes, and Middle East they come in there buying them by the $50,000 worth of cigarettes, and I'm just like, what? And that's all that was coming in there. But they found, and while we can say, oh, nobody want those corner store, whatever, but the money is there. Because how often do we go to the corner store for gas or whatever, running in, running out? And so they found that quick dollar that, hey, all I need to do is buy somebody else's product, upcharge it, and then sell it to y'all.
Sell it, yep.
And how many black stores have we, black-owned stores have we encountered that we know of? Yep. So, but that's yeah. They I don't want to say they have a monopoly on it, but they figured it out, and they stuck with it.
And I think one thing too that we gotta. And I'm gonna get off this, but one thing that we can benefit from as black individuals and black people is when we use each other's product and we circulate that dollar, be okay with paying that price. We shouldn't always be okay with paying their price. We shouldn't always be looking for a discount
just because it's us. And then it's another post. But and sometimes it's more. It costs more for us because we don't have as many resources to get it from. Like Jewish people, they have they have a boatload of resources they can pull from to make their product happen, make their product work.
Right.
And then we don't. Until we can network and get into that area, there is a difference in cost for us. But and then people, I hate they talk about the African American customer service, and sometimes it ain't right. I'm not even going, but I feel like that's a thing. Period. I don't think it's just African American. I think you encounter bad customer service everywhere. Anywhere that there is customer service, you have the ability to encounter bad customer service. And I think as the black community, we magnify. Oh my God! I went to them and they was black. I tried to support them because they was black, and then they didn't know. Okay, you didn't work, but it might not have worked for you, and then you might have had a bad encounter. But don't tarnish the business or whatever. For
somebody else, because somebody else might love it.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That you just had that bad experience. You have a bad experience with AT&T. You have a bad experience with.
And you still pay your phone bill every month.
These people gonna sue me. But you have
these calling our names, man.
Right. That's just the top of my head. You have these bad experiences with these corporate organizations, and we continue to use them for their resources and trust their business. Even though we have a bad encounter with some people, we still should, be able to not even badmouth this. If that's something you don't want to do or pursue anymore, just don't do it. But word of mouth travels fast, so I think that's a lot of things that stifle black businesses as well in the black community, and how that dollar doesn't circulate because you're like, oh, y'all went over there, no, they weren't good, and we take their word for it that, oh no, that was a bad experience. I don't want to go through that. And I want to experience that. And so, we eliminate the circulation of that dollar by that word of mouth. And
what's crazy though is that if we understood that circulation is basically a bartering system.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a mechanic, you a farmer.
Yeah.
That's how I got started. Right. If I'm a mechanic and I need certain type of produce and you're a farmer, let's make that exchange.
Right. Because at some point I need some machines and stuff I got worked on and fixed.
Exactly.
And we've missed it over the years. I think us as a culture, because we talking about us today. We talking about the black people.
Right.
Us as a culture, we have a crab in the bucket mentality.
Yes.
Like, you getting it before me? No, let me pull you down. And instead of, pushing that person up and then, with an expectation that when you get up there, you're going to reach down and help me up. It's just, no, we got to be the first ones.
You got to be the first ones.
You got to either be the first ones or the only ones. And that has ruined us as a culture. And we are behind, not even decades, we behind centuries.
But let me tell you the power of this, right? off of what you just said is that there is no way that I can do what I do and not be compensated in some type of way, or God take care of me from doing what I'm called to do. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is going to take food out of my mouth if I'm doing what I know I'm gifted to do. And I tell you why, because it says it in the scripture, Psalm 1:3. It says, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, who brings forth his fruit in his season. And whatever he shall do, it's going to prosper. We don't see apple trees and orange trees competing against each other.
No.
We don't see oranges complete. You know what I'm saying? If there's two orange trees beside each other, they're not competing. Who's going to grow the fastest? Who's going to produce the most fruit? We're not.
They all got their own season.
They all got their own season.
But you know, it ain't. Strawberries ain't year round.
Yes.
You know, watermelon ain't year round. You don't see watermelon like that in wintertime.
Right.
But summertime come, you walk in Walmart, it's 5 things in watermelon. And that's its season.
Yes.
To be, I really need to get some water. That's its season for, you know, for the harvest and it to be produced. But I think we don't want to wait our season. We think just because we started something that, hey, because I started and I'm committed to it and God, you told me to do it, I'm looking for my fruit the next day.
Yes.
And that ain't it. You got to plow and you got to work and you got to wait.
Psalms 1:3, I have not been able to get out of that scripture all year. I kid you not. The Lord brought me to that scripture in January. That's how I got out of the banking industry. And I transitioned over to doing my consulting and coaching and mortgage, on mortgage loan officer as well.
So talk about this transition.
Okay, so this transition was something that, it was something, oof, my God. When I just think back about it, it's something that I would never have considered for myself at this time.
Okay.
And the reason being is because I left a good salary position. I'm talking
the security of that.
Security of it. When you go into the mortgage arena, that's 100% commission. So,
oh wow, ain't no base.
Right, ain't no base salary. You know, I was used for years of making a salary plus a commission. And once I got to the branch manager position, I made the biggest salary I've ever made, and then on top of that, I made commission. So I said, Lord, I can't keep doing this though, because it was the stress level was so high to the point. Consecration last year, I put it on the altar, and I was looking for jobs.
Wow.
I mean, looking for jobs, and I was getting turned down for jobs, wasn't getting called back for jobs that I'm qualified for. And so I was like, okay, Lord, so this is where you have me right now. I'm gonna do what I have to do until you shift me to my next or whatever I need to do. So then I had a conversation with someone in December. He was like, have you considered doing the mortgage business? I said, yeah, I thought about it, but I didn't dwell a lot on it. Because I was already doing loans for the bank, but we had our own, at the time, that own separate mortgage division. Okay. Which I wasn't able to do because I wasn't solely, because it's different. So I can get in that later, but that's a long conversation. Okay. So in December, I went to my wife. I said, listen, there might be an opportunity that's out there for me to pursue this. And I had to tell her, I'm not doing this because I'm running away from where I am. But I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't feel like this is something that would benefit us. So we prayed about it. She said, oof. She said, well, let's see what's out there. I applied to jobs. And I had a conversation with the individual. Actually, I'm gonna shout her out, Miss Deidre Cox. Okay. Angel's mother.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shout out, Miss Deidre.
Yes.
So I love her, man.
It's phenomenal wealth of knowledge.
Yes. So I was talking to her one day about my program, which we'll talk about later. But I was talking about my program, and she said, "Hey, I know you mentioned that you were talking about the mortgage industry. I have someone for you to meet." He called me that Monday, and we had a conversation. And he said, "I'm gonna get you over to my division manager." I had a conversation with him. Division manager said, listen, I like you. I'm gonna have you have a conversation with a manager that's in your region. And what come to find out, they said, okay, we want you to come on board. If you think it's a good fit, apply for this job position, and we are gonna pay you a salary for 12 months until.
And you're not even supposed to have it. It's not even a salary position.
No, not even a salary position.
Look at God.
Look at God. But I come to find out that, backtracking, the first person I talked to was actually the CEO. Wow. And I didn't even know. Wow. At the time, I didn't even know it. So that just lets you know the type of conversation that you have with people, and the type of impressions that you can have on somebody. So I told my wife, listen, they saying I can get a salary. It's not as much as I was getting at the bank, but I got it for 12 months until I'm up and running in this new industry.
Okay.
She was like, all right, well, she's like, I trust you. I believe you. Let's do it. January came, and I was in position to sign my offer letter.
Okay.
And then once I was about to do that, I was like, Lord, I need a settling in my spirit. Everything is lining up now, but I need a settling in my spirit. So I was worshiping and playing the piano one night at my house, and then the Lord brought me to Psalms 1. And when I got Psalms 1 and 3, I was like, and I kept turning it over in my head and in my reading, that whatsoever he shall do, it shall prosper. I was like, Lord, I'm gonna put my kite in the wind.
Yeah. I'm
gonna put it in the wind, and I'm gonna be like this tree that's planted by the rivers of water. If your waters and your streams are flowing, which is a representation of your spirit and the Holy Ghost, I believe that whatever I'm going to do is going to prosper because I'm in your flow. I'm staying constantly rooted and planted in your flow. So if I'm rooted and planted in his flow, whatever I'm going to produce in this season is going to prosper.
Even if it causes him to have to redirect you.
Yes.
Because you're in his flow.
I'm in his flow.
And so even if I've not with the scripture, but I've been dealing with it. That's like, okay, God, I know I've heard you and I'm pursuing you and I'm going after you. And I was like, but what if I'm doing it wrong?
Yeah.
What if I'm not doing it the way that you would have me to do it? Like, what? I believe this is what you're calling me to do, but what if I'm doing it wrong? Like, what if this ain't what you got for me? And he was like, if you're pursuing me purely, I'm going to make sure I put you in the right place and guide you. It's a part of the process. And it was like, okay, because that was my concern. I was like, okay, I know you told me to do this, but if I'm not doing it right, then I don't want to waste time. And no time is wasted in God. When you're doing it for God and you're doing it based on what he's told you to do, it's just like, okay, I trust you and I release all the control. I know you told me, I know you gave me this to do, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna flow with you.
You know the power of that too, though. And what you just said is that if you think about a river, it didn't say he shall be like a tree planted by a lake,
because the lake don't move.
The lake don't move.
It don't move.
A pond don't move. So if I'm a tree, imagine a river that's flowing, and the taller, obviously we know the taller the tree, the deeper the roots.
Right.
Those roots go into the bed of the river. And the river flows to the point where it gives the nutrients that the tree needs to be able to continuously grow and produce that fruit. And not only that, the roots from the tree actually provide nutrients for the water. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, well, Lord, how am I providing something for you? He said, because that fruit that you're producing ultimately is my fruit, but it's not for you.
Right.
You serving a purpose. Right. You serving me.
No.
So not just me serving you with nutrients. You are serving me because the scripture says your leaf will not wither. My leaf doesn't need to wither because the leaf causes my fruit to be preserved. So the fruit that I'm producing on my tree, the Lord promised that it's not going to wither. Right. Right. It's not going to die off. Because sometimes I feel like we can have spoiled fruit. Yeah. And that spoiled fruit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. That's what the Lord has had me this year, and I've just been stuck in that whatever you shall do in this season is gonna prosper. So when it's your season and when it's your time and when you are in the flow of God, whatever you're gonna do, you put your hand to do, it's gonna prosper because God's gonna cause it to prosper.
And speaking of whatever you put in your hand to do in this season prospering, you have the exit strategy. Yes. And that is what you're working on wholeheartedly in this season. So explain to us, without giving us too much information, because we want to be able to buy in and purchase and be a participant of the exit strategy. Tell us what that consists of and what it is and your vision behind that.
Yeah, so the exit strategy is actually a program that I started back in 2020. I started it actually for the youth at the Ramp Church. It was something that I wanted to do later on in that year when we were able to kind of get together and do some activities.
Yes, sir.
And it's a real life simulation on what they can expect when they exit their parents' house. And I wanted to give them a strategy on how to do it.
Gotcha.
So, but the exit strategy is actually a business term. And it's just actually what it says. It's just giving you a strategy to exit whatever business.
Yes.
So it's literally just what it says. So I said, well, why don't I do this for other people? My wife, she actually told me, she was like, listen, I see this being bigger than what you think it is. And at the time I was like, okay, I mean, I could see that, but I'm thinking years down the line, right? And now we're here in 2023, and I've done that several times.
Yeah.
That segment with you several times, and I just recently opened it up to adults where I do financial coaching and financial consulting.
Okay.
Where I'm able to provide them a strategy to exit their anxieties about money. Their anxieties about money. Let me say that again.
Yeah. I'm going to say that. I'm going to get you some water fast before it's over with. Let me send a text to somebody. Y'all bring some water down here. Because the better God, it's dry. Let me see.
My throat is dry, y'all.
The people, can you get some water down here?
I'm sorry if you.
I need water on the set. See, I'm gonna be able to do that after a while. I'm gonna get me a staff.
Listen, because this is the smallest you ever be. This is the smallest you ever be.
Hold on.
This is the smallest you ever be.
I believe that.
But yeah, I do. But seriously, so the exit strategy is by me opening it up to adults, small business owners, and entrepreneurs. It allows me the opportunity to take my expertise in the banking industry and in finance, and I teach people what I've learned over the years. And I've learned some of my most valuable money lessons by trial and error.
Okay.
By taking some lumps on the head.
Yeah.
And also, no offense, I'm not talking about colorism or, it's from rich white individuals. They have taught me some lessons when it comes down to money. And that I feel like that's important because we are at positions now as a Black community. That we want to be able to have that generational wealth. Yeah. So I am teaching people on how to build generational wealth, but also too for the individuals that, and this is not about color. Anybody can join. I don't care what race you are. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have anxieties about money. Some people's anxieties, honestly, is not that they need money. It's that I don't know what to do with the money I have. Wow. So I've had doctors and lawyers come to me and I advise them on what to do and how to do it, and it turn around and make them thousands of dollars. So if I were to give you $10 and if you were to give me $10 and I gave you $1,000 in exchange, would you do it? Most people say yes. Yeah. So that's why I open it up to individuals, and now it comes at a cost because I spent time on this. Amen.
Amen. You've invested in that. That's what you said. You've taken the lumps and the bruises and the trials and the errors to see what works and what doesn't work. Absolutely. At a cost of you. And so now you got to pay a cost for what I know because I went through I suffered some loss in order to get this. And, I don't know if it was a rapper or somebody that said it, but scared money don't make no money. Don't make no money. So you gotta take your time to invest. You got to take it and spending money to make money, I think it's so much taboo with us as Black people. Yeah. But because we don't know when we're gonna get it again, so it's like taking a risk with my money when I already got it. Like what? Yeah, like what's the benefit? I'm not finna you talking about give you $1,500. No, like it's. And that's our mentality, but we have to break that because clearly we've been doing that for decades and for generations, and clearly it doesn't work. It has profited us no gain. We'll mess around and go in debt, and then we sell grandma's house. Right. So it's just like when we put a mortgage on grandma's house, then lose. Then
lose the house. And the thing is I teach.
I got hope for us though.
There is hope.
Yeah, that's why it's gonna get better. I believe in us.
It got no choice but to get better.
It don't. We can't. We ain't no choice but up from here.
Right. Ain't nowhere to go.
Ain't nowhere to go.
But that's
I love us, and I don't want to make it seem like I don't. But yes.
But that's exactly why. That's exactly why we do need to break a lot of these stigmas and a lot of these things, because grandma did it and granddaddy did it and mama did it and great grandmama did it. I heard someone say recently, I went to a conference, Pastor Darius Daniels, Thrive 23. He was with another individual named Myron Golden. Okay. He is a financial guru, and I encourage y'all to look him up. But anyway, he gives financials from a biblical perspective. Okay. And when I tell you, Pastor Keon Henderson came, he blessed us in such a way this past Saturday. He said that his granddad or his dad would cook a ham, right? And he would cut the back of it and the front of it and put it in the pot. And he saw his grandmother do the same thing. She would cut the back of it, cut the front of it, put it in the pot. And he said, Dad, why do you do it? Why do you do that way? Why do you cook the ham that way? And he said, because my mom did it. That's why I do it. That's how I learned how to do it. Right. So he went and asked his grandmother, Grandma, why do you do that? Why do you cut the back off? Why you cut out the front and then you put it in a pot to cook it? She said, because that's how my mother did it. And he said, well, why don't you just get a bigger pot? You are cutting off what we can actually use from this meat, right? You cutting off this part of this animal that we are trying to, that could possibly sustain us.
With Thanksgiving coming up.
And you cut this off. Get a bigger pot. He said, why don't you just get a bigger pot? So that his point that he was trying to make is that, yes, we're thankful for how we were brought up. We revere and have respect for the individuals that came before us.
Yes.
But we can't use those old tactics because they were using what they had.
Yeah.
That's all they knew.
All they knew.
We can't use those same tactics and expect to get wealthy now. In our day, in our time, when it was completely different 60 years ago. We can't do that. Those things.
We got to get a bigger pot.
And it's because we got to get a bigger pot. And that's a principle. When you learn the principles are not going to change, right? But they didn't even learn the basic principles to be able to do it because they were doing what they knew.
Survival.
To survive.
For them. Survival for them.
Yeah.
And so it was whatever to survive.
Whatever.
And you know, and with that being said, like how many other practices have we not even realized that we're doing on purpose, just subliminally, because this is how we've seen it and now it's ingrained in our minds to do it this way.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because in my program, I do it for 5 days.
Okay.
And I do an hour a day. And the first day, we don't even talk anything about money. Only thing we talk about money is what it is. That's the only thing we bring up, right? But I don't give you no tools, I don't give you no tips, I don't give you none of that in the first day. Listen, I'm just giving y'all a heads up of what to expect
yes, sir.
when you take my challenge. I don't talk about how to flip this over, how to get rich and like that.
Right.
I don't talk none of that. Because the principles are not a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah. Something to live by.
It's something to live by. Now you can, if you apply those principles, then you can receive.
You're gonna receive the result from
the results. And some people receive it quicker because they are serious about it. It works. But I talk about purpose in the first day.
Wow.
And the first day I talk about purpose. What does your purpose have to do with money?
Wow.
And I tell people, and I just released a video, you don't have a money problem. I tell people that all the time. Oftentimes people, they'll find out, and you will find out when you go through my course.
Yes, sir.
That you don't have a money problem. You just have a problem of how you view money. Your view of money is wrong. So think about your glasses that you got on now. Mm-hmm. If you take them off, are you nearsighted or farsighted? One of them.
I'll be getting confused which one is which. I can see.
You see
close.
You see close.
So I'm nearsighted.
Yes. So
take it off to make sure.
So think about your glasses. It deals with your perspective and what you can see.
Yeah.
So you can see far away when you put those glasses on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my job. That's my goal, is to help you see things in a different way. I'm just the glasses.
You
That's all I am. I'm just the glasses.
That's why you been dropping nuggets.
I'm just the glasses. I'm just trying to help you see your finances in a different way because you was looking at it wrong for a long time. The whole time. Let me take the scales off your eyes.
No. Mm-hmm. But that's a powerful statement because a lot of us have a negative connotation when it comes to money. We view it negatively because it's oftentimes been a struggle for us.
Yeah.
It's oftentimes been an issue or a cause of stress or a cause of
yes.
A cause of what? Just issue in our life.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we do view it negatively, and we do need to change how we view it.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes somebody else to come in and be like, nah, you looking at it wrong.
Especially in the black church. That's why I'm okay when people don't take my challenge, because everybody's not ready for it.
Everybody's not ready for it.
And I tell you, the first step I can tell you why somebody is not ready is that they can't pay the price. If you're not willing to pay the price, you're not ready.
Because again, scared money don't make no money. It takes money to make money.
It takes money.
And I feel like that's another thing that we don't realize in our culture. It takes money to make money. You have to invest. You got to put something forward, and then you take it more seriously when you have an investment in it.
Yes.
You gonna make sure you sitting down and applying these principles. Once you came out of pocket, no, you gonna make sure. Okay, I'm doing what I got to. No, I need to do this because I done already spent my money.
Right.
Like no, I had a trainer. Before my weight loss surgery. When I was just trying to do it on my own.
Right. Amen.
That man was like, he was like, are you seriously ready to do it? He's like, because if you're not, I don't even want to waste your money. I don't want you to waste your money. You ain't gonna waste my time because I'm getting a check from you regardless.
Right, regardless.
But I don't want you to waste your money if you're not at the place where you're really committed to do it.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you're gonna waste your time and your money because it's like, okay, I'm getting your money regardless because that automatic draft is gonna come out that account based on what you sign. But it's like, so it's like, we have to be, and we have to get to the point where we're ready to make that commitment. And if we're not, we shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Because then that also puts another negative connotation on, I didn't spend my money and it didn't work when you didn't work it.
And that's why I said what I said about paying the price and paying at a cost. And you're 1,000% right. Because I guarantee you there are some people that do go through this, they spend their money and they don't get their money's worth because they didn't put in the work. They didn't take the time to apply the principles. They didn't take time to look over the material that I taught. So it's because of the people that don't apply it that feel like they didn't get anything out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you said something before the show started. You said what? Results what?
Huh?
Results may vary. You get out what you put in.
You get out what you put in.
And if you ain't putting in,
you're gonna get that result.
Huh?
You're gonna get that result from it. So I'm a firm believer is that if you're not ready, I'm not offended by it. I just know that it takes a certain level for you to be thinking at. You have to think at a different level to even to spend that money to make. Because the songwriter says
what they say, Pastor Ron.
Songwriter says more money, more problems.
And that's true.
It's true.
That is so true.
It's true because
I don't know.
Because if you can't manage $100
from me, the more money we come across.
I should have worn my shirt today because I had
more problems we see.
This is a sidebar. I'm sorry. I'm messing up your podcast.
You are not.
I'm sorry.
It's a conversation. I told you this is just a recorded conversation.
So I actually had a shirt that I was gonna wear on you Sunday, and it was gonna be that shirt.
More money, more problem.
It was the album cover though, and I said, Pastor Marvin looked at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nobody's not gonna know that this is what it is." And we in church. He was like, "Nah." He's like, "You got to go home and change." I went back home and changed out of that shirt. I thought I was good because it was.
That's my favorite rapper.
It is
of all time.
More money, more problems.
My daddy's favorite rapper was Tupac. I don't understand why. Yeah, no, not really.
House divided.
Because my sister went along with him on the Tupac binge, and
House divided can't stand.
Yeah, can't and won't. And so she went on the Tupac binge. She loved everything Tupac. I don't know who my mama know. Sidebar again.
Okay.
I was in the car, and a Tupac song came on. And my mama just started rapping every lyric, and I did not know who I was in the car with. I did not. I was like, what? And I knew all the words, and I was just in shock. I was like,
that's hilarious.
That is crazy to me. Because, we grew up, and she was singing Mary J. Blige and Tony Braxton. If it's early on Saturday morning and it's raining and music playing, I'm trying to hide because I know we finna have to clean up. So the fact that she was rapping, and I'm grown, and she was rapping whole life, word for word, bar for bar, Tupac, and I just couldn't get it together. I was in awe.
That's funny.
That's.
But the songwriter was right. More money, more problems. Because
and it is.
If you can't manage your $100, how you gonna
manage tax bracket change, your responsibilities to the government change, your responsibilities, your finances, the stuff you got to pay change.
Because that's why I have people, and I've had people with 6-figure salaries, and every payday, every week, before payday, account was in the negative, and I said, Lord, I know what to do with this money.
Right.
Give it to me. I said, give it to me, Lord.
And we be thinking that then somebody like me would be messing through it. Like, I gotta get more discipline. But yes.
Yeah. But again, the first day we talk about purpose because it's important for you. The first couple of days I gotta work out of you what's been put into you.
For however many years.
And I'm gonna give you this small nugget just about something I teach in my challenge. Because I can give you nuggets all day, but this is still not even scratching the surface of what I cover in my course. So, again, going back to money, another name for money is currency. So that's what I train them to use.
Okay,
the money of the terminology of currency, and because what we want to look at money as an exchange for a good or for a service.
Okay,
you need my money or my currency. I give it to you, you give me that hat, you give me that product, right, whatever it is that I need. But the thing about currency is that term is universal. You go to different countries, they have different names for their money.
But at the end of the day, it's currency.
The end of the day is currency. So it broadens your perspective of thinking that this is an exchange. So when we get to the point where we might talk about stocks, down the line, now we're talking about the stock exchange. We're talking about currency. We're talking about different countries and all of that. Now, that hasn't come through yet, but I'm just prepping y'all for what's to come. But when we think about currency, when I think about currency, I think about a current. And a current is in a stream or a river.
Right. Back to the river.
In the ocean, right. We back to the river. So now if we talk about currency, for so many years, we have been, actually before I get to that, let me ask you a question. Why do they tell you don't swim against the current?
Don't be trying to embarrass me, Pastor Ronald.
Now, are you a swimmer?
I do know how to swim.
But even if you're not a swimmer, you might know this.
Why do they tell you to not swim against the current?
Yeah, so like if you swimming against a strong current, what do you think gonna happen?
You'll get tired.
You're gonna be tired, and what else? You have the potential to drown.
Right. That was my first answer.
But you followed me.
Finish. You cut me
I'm sorry.
But no. So what I was gonna say is you had the potential to drown.
Yeah. This is fun. I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
But you got the potential to drown.
You have the potential to drown when you swimming against a current.
Yes.
So in other words, you swimming against something that is already flowing, like something that's already in a certain direction, that's already in motion. For so many years and for decades, we have been swimming against the current.
Yeah.
It's been working against us, and now we're drowning in our finances. Because we learned it wrong. We learned how to swim in the currency the wrong way.
Wow. And the crazy part is we know the wrong way of thinking to be true. To us, it's true.
To us, it's true.
We've been operating in the wrong way, but to us, it's true. It's facts. It's proven. And so now you have the job of that first week or that first day, that first hour to untrain what these people have learned.
Yes.
And what they know to be true.
And I use that, but I use certain language intentionally throughout that session, through the whole week.
Yeah.
For each session, I'm going back to what I talked about on the first day. I build on it. So that's why it's important for people to think differently about money. You don't have a money problem. You just need to think differently about what you think about money.
Wow. Think differently about how you think about money.
Think differently. You gotta come up a little higher.
So outside of taking and enrolling and being a part of the exit strategy, what is another way, or what are some other ways people can start to work on their financial literacy, just what they know about money, period, and then how to build and grow with financial goals and benchmarks and things like that? Biggest thing I can tell you is to have a budget. You need to have a budget. My questions on your Huh? Yeah, that was one of my questions on how to. Yes.
But that's the biggest, the easiest, and the simplest thing. But the easiest things could be so hard for us.
I was just about to say, I'm 32.
Me too.
And I don't think I've ever had a budget.
But I tell you what it does though, it punch you in the stomach.
No.
Because it shows you
my
how much
stomach
money
hurts now.
It shows you how much money you've been wasting. Before I got married, I sat down with my financial advisor, and he was trying to get me to get some insurance, which we can talk about that for a sec later.
Yes.
And
insurance is the way to go.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't afford this. And it wasn't only with like $50 a month. I was like, I don't have an extra $50. I don't know what you talking about.
How much extra did you have, Pastor Ron?
I really didn't. At that time, I didn't have anything extra. I was living paycheck to paycheck.
We should have a deep moment.
No, I didn't. I was scratching and surviving.
Keeping your head above water.
Yes.
Making it away where you can.
I was swimming against the current, my brother. I'm telling you. I said, I cannot do this. $50, what?
$50 extra out of the struggle I'm already in.
I'm already in. And he was like, what do you, like? I was like, I don't spend money on clothes and nothing like that. Like, I just switch up my suits and my ties.
That's it.
Y'all make y'all think it's a new outfit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he's like, okay, well, let's look at, do you have a budget? I was like, nah, but I know what I'm spending. That's what we mess up. He said, let's write it down. I was spending over $750 a month on food, just eating out. Because I was never home. All meals that I...
Surgery has helped me in that area.
Amen.
Amen.
But once I did that, I immediately that next month saved $400.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, a budget is the first thing that you need to do.
Wow.
You gotta do your first work. So a budget is practical. You do your first
do
works.
them over.
Do them over.
Wow.
So that is very practical. Do a budget. Write it down. You know, they have those apps which are good.
And so what should be included? So when we say budget, we're talking about what are we talking about exactly? Because I think we all think something different when we hear budget.
Budget, because there's a 50-30-20 rule. And
all I know is about 80-20 that Tyler Perry taught us. So
Tyler Perry taught us.
That's where I learned it. So tell us about this 80-50-30. Is that what you said?
50-30-20.
See, I'm making up stuff. See?
50-30-20. So 50% of your income. That means the money that comes in from after taxes and all of that. 50% of that money goes towards your needs.
Okay.
So that's going to be like your electricity, your rent, your mortgage, whatever. Food. 30% goes to your wants.
Okay, that's a good percentage.
That's a good percentage.
30% of what I want. Yeah.
You can say that and miscellaneous, you know,
right,
because you can say haircut is miscellaneous.
Okay.
Right, because in the black community we get our haircut more often.
Scheduled appointment for tomorrow.
Amen.
Yeah, that's why I got this hat on.
That's right. So 20% goes to savings. So I'll give you a tip when you're doing your budget.
So hold on.
Go ahead.
Because I thought the 20% was gonna be something else. So with my tithe, what percentage? That's
your tithe need to go
into my 50%.
You don't even, honestly, you almost don't need to.
I don't need to start until after.
You don't even start budgeting until after you give your.
Hey man, I ain't got no issue with that. I didn't know. I was just
yeah. So
I thought he was gonna fall in there somewhere, but he with the taxes and everything else.
Yes.
So that's the net. We talk about the 50-30-20 with the net. All right.
With the net. So after you done took care of your
my
tithes.
biblical responsibilities and the taxes
That's
that came
right.
out. Okay.
Once you took care of that 10%.
Right.
The 90th.
Right. Food.
The 90th.
The 90th. So this is the 90th.
The 90th.
So we divide the 90th up into the
50-30-20.
50-30-20.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. So I give people a tip. So let's say that you are at maybe around 35 to 40%. I'll just say 40%, kicks and giggles. 40% in your needs column, right? You got an extra 10% left over. Most people, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, I got this
I'm
extra
gonna
money.
move it to my 30%.
I'm gonna move it to my wants. I'm gonna get these new shoes and blah blah blah." You need to move that to your savings. That's how you build a base when it comes down to saving. It builds discipline. Because I tell you what, rich people and wealthy people, and even if they're not millionaires, wealthy people, they know the value and know how to use money. And it doesn't matter that they might not manage their budget now, but they still have a budget. They still want to know where their money is going. And they never stay stuck in a rut for a long time if they get another rut. I don't know how you feel about this person. And I'm just bringing it up for example. But Donald Trump, let's stay right here.
Issue with Donald.
He filed bankruptcy several times. The man is still rich. You know, to get a high reward from your money, you take a high risk. So even wealthy people, they still have some sort of budget or financial planning, which they have hired someone to do. So you need to learn the basics first before you can get to something greater. And I tell you, because you're gonna hit a cash flow somewhere. Sometimes you hit a cash flow issue. You're gonna hit it somewhere in life where things are just gonna be tied up, and you're not gonna have the cash flow what you need or what you want. But I guarantee you're not gonna stay there long because your view of money has changed, and you know how to use it now. You know how to use it properly to make it work for you. But it all is gonna start with you having a budget.
So we're talking about budget. So you were talking about credit earlier. How I realized, not I realized, but you did speak on how important it is.
Yes.
But with the importance of credit, and I don't know if this is stepping into the exit strategy, so if it is, you just tell us, you can't tell us.
Yeah. Okay.
But what are the best, or what are some of the best ways, or give us one best way that people can improve credit?
Improve credit? So this is coming from a standpoint of someone who has poor credit?
Yes.
Okay. So if someone has poor credit, what you need to do, I actually released this video on my TikTok, is that you need to know what's on your credit report. You can go to annualcreditreport.com. I'm going to say that again. Y'all can pause it. Which camera I'm in? This one.
Yes.
Annualcreditreport.com. ANN. See, no, I'm just playing. But
we'll put it on the bottom of the screen.
Yes, annualcreditreport.com. So when you go there, it won't show you your credit score, but you are entitled as a U.S. citizen to one free credit report per 12 months, right? So you need to see what is on your credit report, because there might be something on there that you don't even know. That happened to me when I was around about 23 years old. I had been trying to get a car for maybe like 3 years, and I couldn't get a car, and I thought I wasn't getting approved because I was just okay. I just didn't have any credit because I didn't have any credit cards when I turned 18. I didn't do any of that because my parents said, you know, credit to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
So I stayed far away from the credit cards.
And even when we got them little Discover cards in the
still messed them up.
Yeah. So I never get it. My mom wouldn't let me get it, and I was grown.
Huh?
She didn't let me get the little Discover card.
She didn't. You got it now?
Yeah, I got about how many credit cards I got now? I got 4 now.
Okay. That's not bad. That's
good.
good.
Doing all right.
That's good.
Capital One is my favorite.
It should. Yeah, I'll turn you on to something else. Take my course and I'll tell you.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Oh yeah, I got some. And I am. Because I want to redefine currency. I've been swimming against the current and been drowning, thinking I was just getting tired, but I was really drowning.
Really drowning.
I was really drowning. See how about that?
See? But yeah, so pull that credit report because at that point in time, I realized that I had a tax lien on my credit for a house. I was like, I never owned a house back in 2009.
Right.
So I called and got it removed from my credit report because all they know, they don't get everything 100% right. It's not perfect. So you might have something on there that you didn't even know. So I called the credit bureaus and they took it off. And then that next month I saw an immediate change in my credit report. And a couple months later I bought a car. So that is one tip that you can use because you need to know what's on your credit report. And even though people use tools like Credit Karma, it's not 100% accurate.
Right.
You need to know what's on there because you can't go forward unless you know what's on there.
Yeah. Cool.
That's that credit tip.
So credit, since we're talking about credit and we're talking about credit cards, that I'm going to have to figure out which one I need to get once I take the exit strategy.
Yes.
If you can tell us credit versus debit. Because I seen your video before, but I don't know if my followers seen it. So speak on that, at the credit, level that you can.
Credit versus debit. I'm gonna come at you at a different angle.
Okay.
All right. Because you can go.
It's gonna show.
Because you can go to my TikTok. I don't know if I posted it on Instagram, but it's on my TikTok. On why I say you need to use your credit card versus your debit card because you get more advantages and more rewards.
Right. Rewards.
But I'll give you another one. We have some friends, and when they watch this, they're gonna know that I'm talking about them.
Don't get me sued.
But it's not bad though. I have some friends that we went out to eat recently, and they got charged twice on their debit card. Now it's the weekend. It's a Sunday, and me being from the banking industry, I know those business days it's gonna stay pending on your account until Tuesday.
And now, then you gotta wait.
Then you gotta wait. What if
7 to 10 business days to get it back?
Exactly. Now, what if they charge you correctly for your meal, and then they charge you twice, and that second charge is something like $200? And I've seen it happen several times. But with these individuals, I say this is why I would prefer using a credit card over a debit card, because even though I'm using my debit card and I know I'm gonna pay it back, it's easier for me not to get my money tied up. I'm talking about my money.
Right, personal money.
Because when I use the credit card, that's the bank's money.
Right.
So I need to keep my money free as possible because I don't know, in a case of emergency, I might need to pull that $200 out of cash. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I might need that $200 cash. So it's not tied up for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 business days.
Wow.
I can use my credit card instead. And then, I mean, if it's an issue, the credit card companies, it's a lot easier for it to be removed. And I don't got to worry about my money being tied up.
And then they open more often. They got longer business out there. I never thought about it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yo.
Yeah. So that's one tip. That's just from a different angle. But again, I always recommend doing a credit card over a debit card because it's gonna give you rewards to be able to travel more. It's going to give you the option to be able to not only travel more, but travel more without spending less money.
Right.
I went to Atlanta this past weekend, spent $11.20 on my flight ticket for a round trip.
Tell the people one more time.
$11.20 flying out of Lynchburg, Virginia, to Atlanta. All I did was pay on the.
When you fly to Lynchburg, you got to go to Charlotte.
You got to go to Charlotte.
You got to go to. You can't go nowhere else but to Charlotte out of Lynchburg.
You got to.
I need the people to understand that.
You got to. So
for 4 seats, or is that 6 seats? 4 seats from Lynchburg to Charlotte, Charlotte to Atlanta, Atlanta to Charlotte, Charlotte to Lynchburg.
$11.20. Because all I did was pay for the taxes. That's all you do. That's all I did was pay for the taxes. And I'll show you how once you take my My course, the exit strategy.
So it's worth what you save just to fly.
Just to fly, yeah.
Because what is that normally? Do you have a price point for what that flight normally costs, or do you know what you even saved?
Yeah. So I saved almost $400. I saved almost $400.
$400.
Yeah.
$11.20.
Which one you want?
So you got to exit.
You got to exit.
You got to exit. We've been swimming against the current. See,
you got to exit so you can sit in the exit row.
I mean, that need to be a slogan for the exit strategy. I was watching but yeah. So $11.20.
$11
was what you paid because of you using credit cards.
Yes, sir.
And had you used your debit card, $400 and something.
$400 and something.
And no benefit.
No benefits. Nope. So that's why you need to use your credit card and not a debit card. And then I have somebody say, well, Ronald, I can't get a credit card right now because my credit is bad. Take my challenge and I'll help you.
I know a little something about that, but I'm gonna let you know. We're gonna take the challenge together, and we're gonna put the information. What is the extra? How do they access the exit strategy, Pastor?
So there's a couple different ways. I can give you the link now, which you go to theexitstrategychallenge.com.
Okay.
So I don't know if we're gonna have something at the bottom of the screen. Theexitstrategychallenge.com. You can follow me on social media. That is another avenue. On Instagram and on TikTok is Ronald K. Richardson. Ronald K. Richardson with S-O-N. And if you want to look me up on Facebook, Ronald Richardson II.
Listen, Pastor Ronald, it has been an absolute pleasure. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Man. I did too, man. I had fun.
No, yes. I've learned so much sitting here. I need to get a bigger pot. And I need to not get tired swimming against the current because I'm really drowning.
You really drowning.
But no, is there anything else that you would like to share with the people? Because this has really been really informative. Like, no, seriously, I really appreciate you for coming by, man.
No, I just really want people to really receive that exodus from their thinking when it comes down to money. The exodus just simply means exit.
Yes.
The children of Israel stayed in the wilderness for longer than what they had to. They could, for 11-day trip.
How long did it take them?
40 years.
40 years.
40 years. So listen, don't take the 40 years.
Don't take
the 40 years.
Don't take the 40 years.
Because
you got the exit strategy right here. The exodus is here. You asked for a way, and the way has been made.
It's been made.
You still have, but you got to buy into it. It ain't free.
It ain't free.
So, every deliverance ain't free. It costs you something. You got to give up something.
But the biggest thing is I love the testimonials that I received, man. And someone came to me and he said, and I'm going to release it on social media so y'all can see it. But one of my clients said, man, thank you so much for setting this up the way that you did. Because he said, if you would have came out the gate and just gave me the hype about, how to do this and the tools, how to do it on day one, he said that I would never change my mind. I would have made the same mistake again. It
takes a mind change.
You
got to slow walk it. It ain't just, let me give you the answers. No, let me show you why this is the answer.
Yes.
And it takes some slow walk, especially to untrain that thinking that people have been embedded in and that they know is the truth.
I promise you, once you go through this challenge, I promise you, which camera I'm in? This one. I promise you, when you go through this challenge, you will not leave the same way you came. I'm sorry, I'm old.
You won't leave me like you came in Jesus' name. That's my grandma sing that every time. She might watch this.
Yes. What's your mom name? Your grandma name again? I haven't seen her on Facebook.
First Lady Virginia Johnson Rogers.
Yes.
She
is watching.
Yes, she is.
Down in the comments that you're watching this video, Mother Rogers.
Woo!
We love you, Mother Rogers.
But listen. We have been blessed and informed.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, that's your cap.
Yes. Well, actually, put us on the big view. Roger, thank you for having me.
Oh no,
on the FatBoyJoy podcast.
It's been a pleasure, man.
I'm serious. I was serious about this as the smallest you'll ever be, man. Because I want the people to hear this. You have been working so hard on your podcast, and this is your season, man. This is your season. It's your time to bear the fruit, bro. So it's gonna prosper. Because you're in the right season. So I saw that. I saw what you did with Pastor Marvin in that interview. Just like Bishop's message that he preached a few Sundays ago, you made the right decision. He made the right decision.
Make people cry and stuff, Pastor Marvin.
Say what?
We should try to make people cry and stuff.
No, I'm serious though.
When
I see what you're doing, I see the effort that you make, and people don't know that doing all this stuff, setting this stuff up, and doing what you're doing, it takes a lot. And the behind the scenes work, what you're getting out of it is going to be more than what you're putting in. You're going to get to that place. You're going to see the fruit of it. So listen, this is the smallest you ever be, bro. I celebrate you. I honor you. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor to be here.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Really, really. Listen, next week we're gonna have tissue and water. We're definitely gonna have tissue and water for the next episode. We're gonna sit it right here. But no, again, man, thank you so much for taking the time out to come share, impart, and give us these nuggets and give us this information on how to change our thinking as we think about it concerning to money as a people, as a culture, and as individuals. This is information that we need. So listen, go support the Exit Strategy. Take the class. It don't matter where you are in the world. The exitstrategy.com.
The exitstrategychallenge.com.
The exitstrategychallenge.com. Listen, you can join at any time, or is it like a schedule?
So actually there is a schedule. So I just updated my new dates, which is going to be November 6th through the 10th. That's going to be my next one, and it's completely on Zoom, so it's virtual. And listen, if I get enough buzz and enough feedback, I'm going to invite individuals that's local to actually come in the audience. And I'll still do a virtual, but it's going to be on Zoom. It'll be recorded. So if you can't make it and you're at work or whatever the case is, you can't make it 1 day, 2 days, I'm going to have the recordings for you so you can be able to go back and watch them.
So listen, I'm taking it November 6th. I want y'all to join me for that week. We're going to do the Exit Strategy Challenge together. Listen, I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. I am out.